Waiting for some folks to connect. Let's see. See if I can zoom in just a hair to really get that downhill section. All right, we have a couple of people starting to tune in now. Just going to give it a few seconds longer before we start commentating here. Three eyeballs.
Good morning, folks.
Good morning. Yes. Just going to wait for a few more people to connect before I end up giving a full rundown here of what we're going to be doing. Real quick audio check. Want to make sure everybody can hear me okay. For those that are viewing, can you hear us? Just a quick little comment. That'll just help us out a little bit.
I can hear you fine, Mike.
Thanks, Stryker.
One of the media guys sitting next to us confirmed that he can, in fact, hear us.
Okay, well, so here we are. We are live out on Andy's Run. This was formerly named the Horseshoe Bend stage. We're at this famous hairpin that is this is one of my favorite roads that we've had in our entire championship for the last 15 years I've been involved with it. It's a wonderfully twisty, turny through this forested section, right carved into the cliffside, and it's just a fantastic road. You've got a steep descent here coming into this wonderful hairpin corner. Thank you for confirming you can hear me, by the way. And of course, we've never been able to live stream here before because, well, you can't get signal here. But because of beauties of satellite technology, we are actually able to do live. So I'm your host, Mike Shaw, and with me is...
I'm your co-host, Austen Knight.
And we are going to be doing a live stream here on Stage 4 to cover all the cars. First car out should be Connor Martell is first on the road, and he's supposed to be leaving at 10:37, so that's just a few minutes' time. We've already heard the confirmation that the zero car has finished, and actually I just got a pop-up notification that the stage is set to start on time. So lovely when the schedule is nice and consistent.
Always
no
love
interruptions.
it when it works out, right?
Yes.
Everything
of
goes
course,
according
we
to
say
plan.
that, commentators curse.
And then someone in a Volvo does something
Right,
crazy.
exactly. So a little bit of an update from last night, the short super special stages that we have at Portland National Raceway. For those of you that maybe didn't hear all the excitement that went on, they start the cars in reverse order there, which is a little unique because, well, it's there at the track. We want to keep the fans in the stands. We want the fast cars to go last, right? That makes sense. Well, the third car on the road is this old Volvo Amazon. Is that what it's called?
I have no idea.
I think they're calling it. But this old 67, I think they said it was.
I could see 67.
You know what? I do have it in my list. I should actually just read things that would make
Even
the
though I
most
shared a
sense.
Volvo yesterday, I don't. That's
1967 Volvo 122. Doug Folsom and Melinda Folsom, his wife, they hit the curb at the hairpin there at Portland National Raceway, and they rode the curb like a skateboard, basically, and that got the car so upset when they tried to correct, it actually rolled the car. And so right in the middle of the racetrack, car rolled over, full turtle shell.
It slid.
They were
It was
okay.
crazy.
So
And
we
it
can laugh
only
about
stayed
it
on the
because
roof.
everybody's looking.
It
What's
just
that?
went on the roof and slid around. It didn't roll back over.
Oh yeah, it was totally like Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it was
cartoon.
Koopa style crash, you know.
And they got out, they jumped up, they raised their hands, they were excited.
Yeah, they were happy. I think I heard that they were startled though because they didn't realize they're in front of the grandstands when that happened, where all the fans are, and they get up like, "Whoa, there's a bunch of people here." But yes, they are okay, and the car, it actually was a pretty slow roll, and the roll cage and everything is fine. For what I'm hearing is they may be back out today. They just had to get a replacement windshield and some tape and stuff like that to kind of get the car a little bit better. So you may see just some plastic over the back window. I believe that's allowed.
Yeah.
But they do have to have a windshield. So hopefully we'll see that car go by later.
How did everyone else do at PR last night, Mike?
Well, when it comes to the top competitors, we ended up with Brandon Semnick, of course, being the fastest. Not a huge surprise there, but I think what has surprised me is how much faster he's gotten on a super special like that now, with the mixed surface between the the gravel and the tarmac stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Especially because that's a hard tire choice, right? You're running a track tire or you're running a gravel tire, and half the track is gravel, half the track is tarmac.
Exactly.
What's your best option?
Well, and the other thing is, when you've got one of those tarmac tires, for them to actually function, you need to warm them up. And well, it was not warm yesterday. We didn't have like bright sunshine on it. It started to heat up a little bit near the end of the day, got up to like 65, but it was still all through the clouds, so the tarmac wasn't necessarily getting super hot. So that first part of the stage that did start on the backstretch of PIR, that when you get hard braking heading into the chicane, hopefully that would have gotten the heat from the brakes getting into the tires and then therefore giving them more grip. Once they got into the gravel section, making the tires a little more sticky then might have helped a little bit with that broken tarmac gravel section.
Potentially.
But then when they got back on the tarmac racing surface again, I think that's where the car really would have pulled away.
Off the dirt, onto the dry tarmac and sliding back around, definitely.
Jeff Sandvoss, no, this is not the same spot we went to a couple of years ago. We've never, ever been able to stream from here before because there is zero signal here. We're using a satellite service to get this live stream. So,
Satellite and some anti-gravity lithium batteries powering it.
Yes. I mean, the portable battery packs really do make it where literally we can be anywhere now. So, I mean, as long as we have a place to fit our cars, which is actually one of the biggest challenges when you're trying to get these things. You don't want to hike in a giant battery pack and satellite with you.
No, not ideally.
Anyhow.
Not as a volunteer, Mike.
Right. So, Semenick was, of course, fastest last night, but it was still 18 seconds faster than Carter Martell, what's second fastest there. So
insane?
18 seconds in 3.27 miles?
3.71 miles.
3.71 miles. 18 seconds.
That's insane.
That's a lot of freaking time.
Now, Brandon's been on this track many times before in a highly powerful car like this. Is it some of the other racers maybe newer times or fresher, new cars to them, and they're getting their teeth figured out?
Well, I would say that, definitely getting used to things. Connor Martell, obviously first time kind of doing more of the champions. He's done one-offs here and there.
Yeah.
So he's getting more consistent seat time and learning the car that he's in. It's not at the same level as Brandon's. Actually, one specific thing about Brandon's that would have been an advantage last night is all the aero.
Yeah.
Aero is a huge advantage when you're doing circuit racing, right? So on any of the circuit racing parts where he's able to get the higher speed and get that downforce, that would have just made him eat up a bunch of time on folks, right?
Go faster, turn faster,
exactly.
Stop harder.
And of course, we have Travis Pastrana. He's in the now limited four-wheel drive car. Very limited aero. I mean, it's just the factory aero, right?
Yeah, that's the idea of it. It's a limited car. It's supposed to be everything factory, something that someone could go buy from Subaru and put some parts on that are designed for rally to make it tougher.
That's the plan, right? They upped the power on it apparently recently. So it'll be interesting to see, how he handles that. When they ran it at Olympus, they actually, Travis was telling me that they actually had reduced the power a little bit to try and preserve the engine, see how it functioned. That was the first outing of that vehicle. And so then coming out now to Oregon Trail, they're turning up the wick a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see that. He was saying before that car is a little more like driving a Group N car, except it's not a manual transmission. It has a sequential in it. Because limited four-wheel drive is a limited open class. I mean, there's still some things that they can do for performance. One reason why they go to sequential is, believe it or not, even though sequentials are more expensive than a manual transmission, they're actually really reliable.
Yeah.
And even though they're not like 40 grand like they used to be, they're getting down to like 20, 15, and they actually last a long time. And so instead of replacing a whole bunch of manual transmissions, and time is money too, right?
Yeah.
Then you just have the sequential that'll last you potentially all season or multiple seasons, right?
True.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who we were talking to yesterday, but they're mentioning they're figuring out some steering issues on that car. The steering is not quite quick enough for what Travis is looking for. And like when they spun out at Olympus, they need to do a mini point turn, according to Ree, just to get back on stage. So curious to see what adjustments they've made sitting here on a hairpin, matter of fact, to mitigate those issues.
And what'll be interesting about this hairpin is just that corner entry. Last time I was live streaming up at Olympus, we had an uphill hairpin, and you could really see the different teams and how they kind of readjusted, as they kind of went through the corner. Definitely a different challenge going uphill than going downhill. But it'll be interesting to see how many little corrections the competitors do. You see if they get it right the first time, if they slide wide, or if they really kind of just hug that apex all the way down. Also interesting is the potential for cutting. You can see a little line where they, obviously on recce, somebody was like, oh, let's see how far we can kind of cut on the inside there. And there's a large rock. So hopefully nobody pulls that out, because that is quite the boulder and could be an issue for someone.
We are 1 minute from stage start.
1 minute from stage start.
And we're
all right.
very close to the top of the stage. We're about 3/4 of a mile in, so it should be pretty short that we start seeing some.
Yeah, we should
hot cars come
almost
through.
hear the start of the cars. It's going to be pretty. They're not that far away, and obviously they're quite loud. So we're very excited to be here, though. So thank you all for joining us. We're excited to be on this stage for the first time. All right, car 21
Thanks,
has
Chris.
started.
We
So as I
appreciate the
said, Connor
enthusiasm.
Martell is first on the road.
I was just waiting for whatever was going to follow that.
No, just woo.
Okay. Chris Creation Machine is a woo guy, guys.
Woo! We'll get woos. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Jay. I guess I should say hi to folks.
You can. Can hear
Justin,
the start.
sometime you should make it out west and see this stuff. It's fun. And already I can hear that we have second on the road is Travis Pastrana's next, isn't he? Yeah, it's Travis, and then it's Brandon Semenek. Oh, actually, never mind. I'm just hearing him in the distance. It's weird the way it echoes out here. So that's right, because 2 minutes for the first 3 cars. So we have a little bit of a break. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong.
Martell was 55 miles. We also have a radar gun right here.
That's right.
And Martell was 55 mile an hour right there. What do you think we're going to see out of Travis and Semenek out of there?
So Travis, I bet he'd be about the same.
Probably.
So it's a lower performance car because it's not open class, but I think he'd have that same speed coming down.
That would make sense. I mean, gravity helps a lot in that case, right?
Yep.
Really what you're trying to do is see how fast you can go downhill here.
Thank you, Ryan. How's my zoom? I didn't want to zoom in too much, but I wanted to have it zoomed a little. Wow, we can really hear these guys from we can hear them down at the bottom of this canyon here before they start going up the other way.
Do you want to use my phone? It's not doing anything, it's right there.
Awesome, Justin. Well, whenever you can make it back out west, come out and see us again. Up, here we go.
$54 for Travis.
I was right then, pretty close. 54 miles an hour. Great corner entry, too. Ooh, my screen is getting a little hard to see. Sorry, folks. Need a little shader here. So yeah, with the radar gun, we clocked him at 54 miles an hour coming down. And you can see it did a little bit of a Scandinavian flick there. What you will notice with the Scandinavian flick is they actually turn a little bit the opposite direction to the left and then yank it hard to the right as they go under braking. And what that does is causes a flicking action with a pendulum movement, basically, to get the back end to rotate around.
It's okay. Here,
You're good.
Just put it next one. Thank you.
All right, next we have Semenek, right?
Yes, Brandon Semenek should be next. It'll be
Should be
interesting
a
to see
little
if he does a
faster looking,
Yeah,
right?
well, it should be a little faster looking, but I'm curious about, again, he drives with the arrow and stuff. Does he still do like a Scandinavian flick type corner entry? Or does he just take it just straight on?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I think he'll probably flick it a little bit. This is a really acute turn.
It is
We're
very
doing
acute.
180-degree direction change here. You really need to get the momentum of the car to help you out.
And hopefully you all can hear the sound okay. We're just really using the mics that are on our lapels here, but I think it's loud enough that you should be able to hear it okay. Hi, Stryker. We're going to say hi to Matt Stryker over here. There you go, wave. Here we go.
How fast was that? 59 for some.
59, yeah. So nearly 60 miles an hour. So if you notice, because of that speed, he started that flick way earlier than everybody else, and then drifted through that corner.
He was almost he was about 10 feet up from the turn. You
can see the lines.
To the road.
You can actually see the lines of where he started the back wheels. You can see them already starting to turn way up the hill here as he came in. All the others did it later as they were getting close to the apex. Yeah, this is one of the few safe places to be where you're on the outside of a corner. So that was Ryan Booth. You can see he had to do a couple of corrections and different stabs on the throttle and the brake. That car is just so nimble, being one of those Rally 2 cars. It's got a shorter wheelbase, and so it can just corner so tight that he didn't have to drift the whole thing. He kind of just had to, attack it a little different.
We got a 55 out of Ryan coming through there, so pretty
well
consistent.
done.
Yeah.
Yep. 55 miles an hour.
Yeah. Our radar gun person is saying he came through that top turn a little faster than the other two, interestingly enough.
Pat Grushka, I think. I don't know if it's just me, but it felt like he hugged the inside of that corner better than the others. But that doesn't necessarily mean it was faster, but he definitely hugged it really well.
Through and cut down.
Yeah, started farther on the outside.
More on the inside, actually. Sort of. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking back through the pictures I took through the turn here.
Hello, Marco from Argentina.
He didn't really start to change direction until halfway through the turn to get flipped around, where the other guys were kind of backing it in, drift style almost, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Style points versus maybe speed.
And we do have a little bit of dust here, as you can see, but is nothing like what it would have otherwise been, because we had rain this morning. Which I'm curious as to how that may be, if it was a little more wet on Dalles Mountain, the stage before this. But yeah, definitely a little bit of dust. It's drying up, but not to the point that's going to affect the teams, I don't think, at all. Yeah. Doesn't look like it's hanging. We also have some wind that's going to be kicking up. Of course, this gulch will hold the air in a little bit more, but I'm looking down, I'm seeing like a little bit of dust remaining, I think, from the competitors after they go farther down the hill.
It is starting to get
down
warm,
there.
We showed up all ready to be rained on, and we've all shedded many layers.
It's definitely shedding layers, for sure.
Andy Miller there?
I think that is the first time I've ever seen Andy Miller make a mistake.
No, those are some big words. He just
I mean,
came a little too tight there, didn't
Yep,
the car
clipped the
didn't come out
inside
enough?
and almost stalled the car.
Yeah. Just didn't quite give himself enough room to come out of that turn.
Yes, I agree, Jeff. It's great to see Javi and KJ back in a Rally 2 car.
He's on a very similar line to Semenuk through that turn, Andy Miller. Looking back at it. He's very sideways up here high, and he just didn't have the momentum to pull that slide all the way through the turn and back down to the bottom. But he was coming through at 47, so I mean that's already we're seeing a 8-mile-an-hour drop.
Yeah,
give or take.
in the approach speed. This isn't, well, they'll do the stage twice. There's not really laps with stage rally, per se.
Of course, sounds like it's fighting something.
Yeah, it could be also that it's Aoife getting used to,
Sure.
again, she did Olympus before, the first time ever doing a 4-wheel drive car.
Okay. She did come
she
through at
learned-
53 mile an hour though, so she's moving.
That's a good approach. And I think she's just getting used to the platform. With, again, 4-wheel drive, she's learning how to make some adjustments to it. She's the Dirtfish Women in Motorsport supported driver all the way from Ireland. And
I love that program, by the way.
yeah,
It's
no,
an
it
awesome
is a
program.
fantastic program trying to get more women involved in this sport. Rallying actually has more women in it. We just need more women drivers. Stephen Red
and Dylan
yeah.
Hooker. I could remember the last time I was stuck on the first name. Stephen Red, that's his new Fiesta, right?
Yep, that is a new Rally 2 car, of which that's going to be available for rent. So they're now launching Stephen Red Racing, a arrive and drive program.
Yeah, I think it's got like 19 miles on it. So he did 16 before yesterday, he did 3.71 miles yesterday on the track. So it's
But then he also did how many miles on Dow's Mountain before he got here? So he did also another 10 miles there. So
okay.
all right,
Really the second
we're
stage
gonna
he's driven
wave
that in
goodbye
anger.
to our wonderful media folks. Bye, everybody. Subaru folks, they had the Subarus go through already, so they're gonna hike out. We'll be here for all the cars, though.
Now that car had a front bumper yesterday. 49 miles an hour.
So yeah, did you hear what happened? Why their front bumper is gone on the Focus RS?
I did not.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it either, but yeah, it definitely is missing.
Yeah.
Must have clipped something last night, or maybe it's a cooling issue?
There are some rocks around PIR that are pretty immovable and like to take bumpers off cars occasionally.
Yeah, Mike, that car is amazing. It's been a labor of love project, lots of labor, lots of passionate love too, but love-hate, hate-love, I don't know.
Kinda still stuck on passionate love.
Yeah, passionate love, yeah.
David Despain, right?
Yes, Jacob and Michael Despain. That was great.
50
What an
mile an
approach.
hour.
50 mile an hour approach. Nice. And they're in an NA 4-wheel drive car.
Oh.
I love that.
That sounded like another H6 car, right?
Yeah, I think it's an H6 swap. So for those of you that don't know, the naturally aspirated 4-wheel drive class for ARA is an open class where they can do some things.
They have a pretty lax level of rules for how they modify the car besides safety.
Yep. I mean, there's a big weight limit though, so that because they're a lighter car, so they want to keep them within a certain weight. I think it has to be the same engine from the manufacturer, has to be
Something
in
like
there.
that, yeah.
But the 3-liter horizontal 6 that was in some of the Subaru cars can fit inside the Impreza chassis. So there you go. Hello to both Iowa and to Ireland. Thank you for joining us.
51 miles an hour down the
51,
hill.
all right.
Lexus.
For Hooper in the first of our fun wheel drive cars to come around.
Yeah. That was pretty quick. And these cars are always so fun because you can hear them correct every time. There's no.
Yep. Well, especially trying to control the traction with those rear wheel drive cars. It's a lot of having to feather that throttle, right?
Just fighting for it. As best I can.
Next up should be Seamus.
That's a loud car. There's no way to cut that. I think we had to make him be quieter last night at PIR, in fact.
Yes, we have a sound limit that is required for the track out there.
Yeah.
And we have that in our rules. And yeah, so.
He had to find some silencers so he could go race last night.
Yep. But that car obviously does not sound like your typical Ford Escort.
Definitely not. Not a 4C. Yep.
But it has a Mustang V6 in it.
And of course, an Escort we never got here in the US.
Right.
A cool Escort.
Ooh, that was a little ragged.
53 miles.
Can you hear me again? It looks like it might be live again.
Says the Wi-Fi or the satellite's online.
Okay. I think we're good. Sorry about that.
Mike, does that look good on your end?
It looks fine on my end.
Okay.
So that was Alistair Scully in the I-20 Rally 2. Before that was I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Clio in the Rally 3, Sean Donnelly and Zach File, they came in really hot from the top and were doing a lot of corrections with that car. So it looks like they're still trying to get used to the platform maybe or something, because that was a little wild coming in. I really hope that you guys got to see that before our wireless. We're trying doing the new technology here with the satellite stuff, and technology is not always perfect, but we're trying.
You can't control everything, but you can do your best, right?
Exactly.
And it seems to be pretty good. I mean, we are.
And I'm gonna wipe my lenses real quick. Sorry, folks. Just my finger.
Rightfully
There
in
we
a
go.
pretty remote spot and able to come to you guys.
Josh Gearman, another one of the H6 swaps. Such a popular thing to do with the NA4 platform. Hope like somewhere in the background, like Subaru like keeps manufacturing that engine for like in perpetuity just for competitors, right?
I know I was talking to one of our racers that uses the H6, and the modern H6s that they've had and like the newer Outbacks are not the same and will not work as well. I think they're also too big.
Oh, I see. So
I believe there's a 3600 cc
3.6, yeah. The 3.6 is that. I don't think that one fits. I think they have to all use a 3.
There's actually you can't get. I believe there's an upper limit to the displacement of the engine for their cars.
Oh, right.
Is what I'm trying to say. There's a.
Oops. Lost them for a bit.
And if memory serves me right, that upper limit's like 3600 cc.
So that was Phil Clark and Kendra Tim that just went by. They're in the limited four-wheel drive. They've performed really well in the past. They had issues, though, up at Olympus and got towed in. Then they went back out again, and they just were constantly nursing issues for some reason with that car. Then on the shakedown stage, they were actually towed out of that yesterday morning. But it looks like the car's working well. And Kendra, she actually lives right in this general area, in the Goldendale area that we're at, where these stages are. So this is, you can't get much more of a home rally than, we talk about local knowledge.
This
the
is
co-driver,
actually how she takes her kids to school. This road.
This is actually how she takes her kids to school.
This is actually how she takes her kids to school. This is actually how she takes her kids to school. This is actually how she takes her kids to school. This is actually how she takes her kids to school. This is actually how she takes her kids to school. This road.
This road.
Chris Sear from Team O'Neill there, and Barely Serious. Wait a little longer. I can't hear it.
Yeah, the Barely Serious limited two-wheel drive Fiesta ST. As you can see, he's still in the top 20 of overall starters in a limited two-wheel drive car, so it is not slow.
They're fast, and we're starting to see some rocks plow. There's a big one pulling out up on there.
Yeah, we got some little bit of cutting, a little bit of stuff being dragged out. Pardon me while I get a little beverage. So far, I don't see any missing cars. A couple were in a slightly different order than what I had assumed they would be coming through, but it's neat to see the Clio Rally 3 out here, though.
Yeah, that is cool.
Another European platform car making its way over here. Like we were talking about with Stephen Red Racing, getting a hold of the Rally 2s that come from the UK.
The most we've had at Oregon Trail of cars that were never available here in the
Right,
US.
the Skoda Fabia Rally 2. We've had the Hyundai i20 Rally 2.
Yep.
We've seen, of course, over the years, more of the Fiesta Rally 2s and whatnot, but really that was the only one.
Yeah, no, and
So,
all of a sudden there's 4 or 5 cars with badges that you don't know. They're all very cool.
So the cars should be just 1 minute apart at this point, but of course, as you go farther down the list, you get to slower competitors, so the gap can be a little over a minute. But this is a bit of a break here. Makes me wonder if there's a car missing, so we'll have to keep track of that.
That was Roberto from
Roberto
Pura Vida.
Iglesias, yes, in the Maxi car, which is interesting, as part of that RC2 class, because it's a Rally 2 cars. But it's a more affordable way to make a car of similar performance. Not quite the same, but it's got a BMW engine in an Audi body shell.
It's a 1.6 liter. That sounded 1.6 liter inline 4. That sounds gnarly for a 1.6 liter inline 4.
Well, that's what the Hyundai i20 runs.
I know.
Same thing with the.
I understand.
But it just sounds better?
That sounded ridiculous.
It did sound better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the BMW engine in it, but Subaru drivetrain.
Yep.
Which I thought was interesting. So it's really quite but it is homologated that way. And so it meets the spec of a modern R4 spec. John Hill and Jennifer Daly in the 68 Escort. Definitely not a V6 swap from a Mustang in that one.
No, still a beautiful car though. Still awesome to see something like that out here. Still turn wheels in anger.
And John's one that loves classic cars.
Yeah.
Him and Garth Ankeny, who isn't competing this year, but we've got a group of competitors that really love driving the classic stuff. And it's so fun to see those things out here.
Yeah.
And of course, as time goes on, we get access to more of those classic cars being able to be imported to the US. So.
Another Lexus?
So now I kind of wonder, that was Rich O'Healy, by the way, with Michelle Miller co-driving, one of the Dirtfish competitors. Who's louder? The Hooper-built cars, River City Rally, with the Lexuses, whatever we're going to call them.
Plural.
They're definitely very loud.
Yeah.
Or Seamus Burke. It's close.
More cylinders, Lexus got it.
They're both 6-cylinder.
Are they just 6s? I thought those would be V8s.
Nope.
No?
Nope, they're 6-cylinder.
I don't know. The Toyota V8 or V6 sounds pretty gnarly.
And they tried a V8 for a while in the Escort that Seamus drives. He did that last year, but then switched back to the V6. So it's Julian Sabot and Stephen Harrell. They're in a Fiesta R2, or what? Well, a version of it.
Something like that, yeah. A more homegrown Fiesta than a
Yeah, I think it's an
imported
upgraded
car.
Fiesta ST to make it basically like the R2, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. A little more work.
But open two-wheel drive, fast.
Not slow, and they've had that car out for a couple seasons now.
Yes, they have.
Kept it pretty clean and together.
So that right there was Michael Hahn and Colin Category on their redemption run of Andy's Run, or when it was then named the Great Horseshoe. He had rolled 2 years ago on this exact stage, destroyed the car, obliterated it, and had vowed that he would come back eventually. Worked all year last year building a car, and it debuted at Olympus. Add some kind of mechanical stuff. It was kind of leaking some oil and things like that. I think they said it was having to put a quart of oil in it pretty much every stage.
Not ideal.
And was that Chadney?
That was Alex Chadney doing 53 miles an hour down that hill.
Great approach, Chadney, and he's back after a couple of years.
Yeah, he blew a motor in 2023 out on day 3 of this event and took a year off to rebuild the car.
So yeah, so similar to, without the accident, but yeah, had a year off to rebuild, and now they're back. So great to see them both back at it. Let's see here. I'm not seeing people's comments. Let's see if I can find out what happened to those. Do. Maddie Tabor and Sophie McKee.
Yeah.
Sophie McKee in the Rally 3 car.
Yeah. Another Element car sponsored by Matrix, integrated.
And that's one of those, that's basically the same thing that WRC, Junior WRC Championship that uses.
Which is what Maddie did last year, right?
No, she went and did a competition trying to get into one of the rides.
Yeah.
So they did a special women's group of women competitors to go to Poland.
Yeah, that's right.
And they had all kinds of different tests they made them do, from reaction tests, physical tests, to actual driving the cars, starting out around cones, and then some sort of like a test stage.
There's the gear.
Scott Crouch and Elizabeth Crouch.
If you pull it hard enough towards whatever gear you're going for, it goes in it eventually.
Yeah, they were definitely having a tough time getting in the right one coming through that corner.
Yeah, being hot this morning was not on my bingo card.
Right? Yeah, we were all wearing multiple layers.
Driving.
It was raining.
Torrential downpours to get here from Portland this morning.
Oops, lost him. That'd be Sage Van Tilburg, birthday boy, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Facebook decided to remind me of that. Probably use Facebook mostly to just remember people's birthdays.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Personal friend calendar.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, apparently today's his birthday. So birthday boy in the BMW, the first of many BMWs we'll see. All right. So let's see here. Hopefully next we should have Nolan Abel. He's got like an H6 put inside like a 2008
GR Subaru hatchback.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Stephen Red Racing built.
kind of shocking to hear as it get. When I first saw it on the shakedown stage yesterday, when I was shooting some media out there, I was like, "What is powering that?"
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, that's not the normal turbo,
surreal sounding, but it makes sense. As Mike's pointed out, like there's a few less rules, there's some less restrictions, and ultimately, if you build it right, it should be more reliable too.
That's the other thing. Yeah, a lot of better reliability typically with the H6, say naturally aspirated versus, all the turbo stuff.
And they're getting nearly the same power out of them because there's a lot of restrictions that go into the turbo systems that they're allowed to run in all these classes. And
that is very true.
To keep them safe and to keep it somewhat even. Very curious. Kind of a long gap again. To be honest.
This makes me wonder if we have lost a vehicle maybe. And apologies, folks. I kind of lost where your comments are on here. Facebook has changed things over the years, and I don't keep up with it.
Oh, let's see if I can figure it out.
We got a gap here. Oh, I had to just slide it. There we go. Sorry, folks. I apparently am Facebook stupid. Apologies for that.
They make it too easy to get them off the screen without you realizing how you took them off the screen.
Sometimes just having to slide left and right is not intuitive.
No, it's
that doesn't let you know that you need to do that.
Nothing in that screen was telling, to his credit, nothing on that screen was telling Mike that he needed to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. So let me scroll down to most recent stuff. Oh, thank you for thanking us for the live stream. Oh, sorry, Alicia, about the closed road. We'll get that open again after they're done, though. And that was Charles Watson and Jamie Beliveau. They're in the 2010 Impreza WRX STI. So, yeah, we have a couple of cars missing from at least the start order that I have. Now, my start order is a little outdated.
Left and right is not intuitive.
Kind of going to go through your folks' comments here. Oh, yeah, hopefully see the ambulance flies down the stage. Well, we'll see. It's farther down the running.
Way wide on that one. Now you can see in the live stream that that car came out a little wider than some of the other ones, and that was probably because they were doing 54 miles an hour down that hill.
So that was George McGinnis and Michael Shevchik in a Rally 3 car. They're obviously moved. They were supposed to start way later, but that car is way. You saw the performance there. They're going to reseed them even farther up. That was quick.
That was fast. Yeah, very fast.
Probably thankful there's a gap to the next car because they're not slow.
Rally's not a sport designed to have passing in mind.
Yep.
At least it happens, but ideally, we space the cars out in such a way that they shouldn't be catching each other. And we try to seed them in their start order in such a way that the fast guys go first and progressively slower throughout.
Yep. And yes, Antoine Lestage, he doesn't compete anymore.
This Ranger. Oh my God.
Your eyes do not deceive you, neither do your ears. That is pretty much a trophy truck.
And I can confirm for you that that guy pirouetted right before the finish last night at PIR, and at no point in time did his foot come off the throttle.
I mean, why would you, right?
Why?
All right.
And it was beautifully caught too. You know, you see someone spin out in grass and they're not really ready for it and it's hard to catch sometimes. No, he perfectly caught it, set up for the next turn, right back out, across the finish line, wide open throttle, same gear. That's the beauty of a V8 though. He started at like 1,000 RPMs, he was at 4,000 by the end of it, and there you go.
Yeah, that is an awesome, it's a Ford Ranger,
That's a cool truck.
but it's, yeah, so much modification there. So Chris Miller and Christina Coates in the FRS, they've been getting faster and faster in that thing. They're in the limited two-wheel drive class.
Making time.
In the fun wheel drive version of that car. But going back to, that was Flynn Baglin and Andre Bautista in that Rally Ranger.
Yeah, I understand why there aren't as many rally trucks as I wish that there were. I can respect the reason why, but I'm here for it. I was really excited to see that on the schedule this year. Start
Well,
list.
We're getting really global here. Hello from Bordeaux. Nice. Calling
Bordeaux.
from way far away.
$50-mile-an-hour downhill for them.
Was that Niels?
That could have been
Yeah,
Niels.
I think, okay, yeah. Little honk of the horn. He knows media's on this corner. So that's Niels and Sarah Nonak in the,
Yes,
they're in an
Niels.
R2, or what is now called a Rally 4 in the spec of the FIA ladder of things.
I don't keep up with it. It sounds
It
cool. and
it
goes
is.
fast.
It seems complicated, but if you think about it, it's like you got Rally 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to the top. It makes sense, but the thing is they used to call the same thing something different.
Yeah.
And so it's very confusing for us.
Very confusing. I need a spreadsheet. Can you make me a spreadsheet? Pictures, preferably.
Was that Patrick Gushka leaving a comment? And I totally missed which car that was. Was that Chabot?
Yes.
Okay. Car number 399, Robert Chabot.
Chabot. And in 2004, 2005, Subaru STI.
I have to go back. Apparently, I was hearing that Patrick Grushka made a comment somewhere, so he must be in service now, that's why. So they come from here, there's a loop of 2 stages, then they go to service, so. Too many comments. I mean,
is
I
hard
love you
to
guys
follow.
commenting, but trying to go back and find them is a little difficult.
We'd use our other phone, but we only have so much bandwidth right now.
Yeah, exactly. Out there in Tennessee, yes, great rallying out there. I'd like to go see Over Mountain sometime. Car number 503, that's Jared Bent and Tim Tuckstad, and those two have been together. Those two were rallying together then. They've been just doing this a long time.
Well,
and
if you
they're a
find
great
someone that you
team,
click with and it works for you, right?
and they're not slow. One of our great regionals in the limited 4-wheel drive class. Nathan, you bring an arena truck next year. All right, well, just make sure it meets the requirements for ARA, and bring it out. We'd love it.
Oh no. Apologies for the oh no there. What you guys couldn't see is there was a deer downstage running upstage to where the car was and then turned back around right before Rochambeau came through there.
So that
Apologies.
was Doug Heridas. I love the sound of that M3.
That deer just
straight
got a
six, naturally
first row seat to
aspirated.
What we're doing today.
Beautiful noises through the woods.
Yeah, he almost timed it well enough to get him on the top side.
Let's go number 760. I don't think, have I seen the Livingston go by yet? I don't think I have yet. So they should be soon though, based on my start order. Mine start order was from last night, so it might have been modified slightly, but I think they're probably about 5 more cars to them if the rest of it stays consistent. Oh, Ty, that's unfortunate. I understand though. Take care of your pet. That's awesome that you've donated to come out, so often, your time to come out so often for 5 years. But take care of your pet. Hope they end up being okay.
Finally a little shade and it cools off here. I was getting real hot there for a minute.
Yeah. Glad the deer changed his mind. Yes.
Oh,
that's pretty startling when you see animals out on stage.
Came in a little hot there, 52 mile an hour.
I would call that a show off.
Probably.
I think that was completely planned. Right? Sean Duro and Andrea Loria. Wow. Yeah.
Good thing I put on my
I'm not
dust
sure if I
blocker
got that
before.
right on camera because the giant dust plume. Dude, you look brown. Oh, that was hilarious. I'm going to wipe off my lenses a little bit with my finger here, so sorry about that, folks. Oh, that was so fun. Yes, we get all of our minerals when we're out here at rallies.
Yep. Fully topped up on iron today.
Delicious iron. Nice and gritty, too. It's got a texture to it.
It's organic.
Very organic. Henry Tabor.
Running the speed hazards.
Yeah, he's running the hazard lights. Wonder what's going on there. But son Henry is starting ahead of his dad.
I noticed that last night. No, I think that was one of those classic bump the button while you're racing, can't find the button, don't care. I don't think
Entirely possible.
He didn't seem to be under duress. And seemed to be under regular power there.
Waiting for the Golf and Mark II Jetta. Well, they should be coming in a bit.
We'll cover them all. We can't leave. So
Yeah, we are stuck here. So there is that. From here, we're going to go to, what, Mary Hill?
Probably.
What do you want to go to? Because we won't get we could try and make second running of Dallas Mountain, but I don't think we will. David Alspaugh and Andrew Bennett in the Audi Quattro. Boy, that sun goes away. Now we're kind of feeling chilled again.
Feels good.
It is just not consistent around here. Or consistently changing, anyways, is the only thing that it's consistent about.
Yeah, it's always going to be windy.
We are getting a breeze in here, and I guess after the dust plumes, thankfully it'll help keep some of that away. Yeah, the Audi's cool, isn't it?
I always love a good classic car like that, especially because, the person that's driving it has a lot of passion to just get the car to the stage, let alone race it, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot more, there's a lot that goes into getting something that old out here on stage. And as I say that, we have another classic. 45 miles an hour down the hill for that duo.
That's nice. Car number 769. Was that the Jetases?
That was a
Or was that
Jetta.
Oh, that was the Jetta. That's right. My bad.
A. Cohen and M. Upton. Markissa Upton would be my guess for the code. Car 769.
See, they're out of my order, and that's why I did not catch who they were. Yes, they did manage to do that fairly dust-free. Keeping it smooth. Smooth is fast, right?
They were sparing us.
That's an impressive timeline.
Maybe 3. What a guy.
You know, always thinking about the media and the spectators. You know, don't want to overdo it, right?
Here for it.
I'm going to guess either an issue or learning.
Yeah,
Because this is a steep approach, and honestly, the camera, again, doesn't do it justice. The descent into here, the top of that is probably vertically, what, 100 feet, 150 feet coming down to here?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And so it's a pretty steep descent, and then you hit the hairpin.
That looks
And
somewhere
if they're
between
not
learning
comfortable with their brakes, maybe they got the
Yeah.
brakes hot, maybe on Dow's Mountain or something, didn't feel confident in them or something like that.
Yeah. That was somewhere between being cautious and learning. I don't
Yep.
know if that felt like a car issue to me. And there's Mark of the Tabor team.
That's Dad, Henry's dad, and Madeline's dad, because she went by earlier as well.
She did.
And this is great to see him out here for his 200th rally. 200 stage rallies under his belt. And no, it doesn't mean he's just that old. He's older. I mean, that means I'm old. Don't go
If the
there.
shoe fits, Mike.
Don't go. Oh man, that hurts. That hurts, man.
Where are the comments on that screen again? I wouldn't say old. How about well refined?
Experienced.
Oh! Not a left. Do not go
Missed
left there.
a gear and almost went the wrong way. That was the Livingstons. That's Brett and Hunter Livingston.
Both those people probably maybe need some fresh pants. I need fresh pants.
I mean, I don't know how well you can see it here, folks, but it goes downhill after that. Like,
if I stepped over that ridge, you wouldn't see me in 4 or 5 steps.
it's hard to stop. Yeah, I mean, it is in an angle. It's not just a cliffside, but it is definitely a steep decline. So yeah, you do not want to go over that.
Specifically there, because there's no trees right there to stop you.
Right,
You're going
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, there's a big open clearing there where you go for a bit.
You'd probably be going
You
faster
sense
at the
bad pace
bottom.
notes. Entirely possible, but it's pretty obvious it's a hairpin.
And there's probably a double caution panel up the hill from it somewhere too, I'd imagine. 53 down the hill for that bug-eye wagon. Car 937.
Okay, that's Ryan Bofio.
Yeah, Ryan Bofio. Yeah. Woo! That's the only purpose that photo serves. I'm here for it.
Should we woo the next cars that come down?
We should. Let's woo him.
Mark doesn't think he's old. Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah. I will concede there are times that I try and think that I'm younger than I am, and then my body reminds me, nope, you're older now.
Mark is young in spirit. I can respect that. Woo! Yeah, I see all my fellow wooers let me down there. 44 miles an hour down the hill for that duo.
That's not bad. Eliza Coleman and Ryan Scott. Fun fact, Eliza, she's actually a stunt coordinator for Hollywood.
Yep. There's a few of those. It seems
Yes.
like I know a couple in some other motorsport fields, male and female, that are stunt coordinators, stunt people, stunt drivers that also
Do
in
rally.
their free time like to come out and rally or
Yep.
do other forms of
Ely
motorsport.
Barta,
Yep.
he's one that's come and competed with us before.
I think it's really cool to see them take their passion and turn it maybe to work or vice versa, something
Well,
like that.
I think it also maybe the people that are some of the best stunt drivers are rally drivers.
Curious, weird how that works.
Just saying.
That might be the smoothest.
Josh Stinson and John Venti.
Yeah, that might be the smoothest turn we've had in a little bit. They came through with good momentum.
That was a really good momentum turn.
47 miles an hour into the turn.
Great downhill approach speed. Hard on the brakes once, not having to stab it a whole bunch of different times. Just kind of not sure what to do, right? It felt very confident.
Just set the car up once and came on through. And he stayed out of they stayed out of the marbles up in the inside there where they're pulling all the
Yes, Tanner
stuff out.
Faust, he was also a rally driver turned doing stunt stuff. You're very right there.
Yep.
We've had a whole bunch over the years.
Tanner was more than just a rally driver though. He was big in, he was one of the champions of Formula Drift too.
Yep. He did that. He did Rally Cross.
Top Gear America.
Top Gear America, yeah.
Which you can hate on that all you want, but they took the best part of the format and just did that over and over again. I can respect that if you're out there watching Rutledge.
I liked Rhett. He was fun.
He's still around too. He still does some car things. He's out in the community. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely passionate about the sport, and I love his knowledge of it, right? He's a big history buff on it.
That's one of my favorite things about stuff like that is when someone can just like tell you 15 minutes about some obscure fact on some car you never even heard of, you know?
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. They're just calling it 210 has finished. So
Nope.
they're wondering about
I don't know where
that
these
car.
flies are coming
How far
from
back
now.
are we on that one? Oh, that's Henry Tabor. Okay. Wonder if he was having issues on the stage. They might have been just worried because he was had the flashers on.
The Mazda-Roo that we met last night and talked about.
Yeah, the one of many cars that goes by and does not sound like it looks.
Now, I have some insider knowledge on this car.
Yeah, the banana slash Mazda-Roo.
The Banana-Roo
Banana-Roo.
Took a
I like
jump.
that. We'll call it the Banana-Roo. I like that.
took a jump at Olympus and may have dislodged the rear axle.
May have.
May have. And as I understood, they were maybe warned not to jump the car. However, they've done a lot of work and they fixed it. And it's back. They've adjusted some angles, reinforced it, and they're hoping to take it over Boyd and see if their fixes tomorrow hold up.
Well, yeah. If there's some rough roads to test out something like that on, we've got several.
And that car is a hodgepodge. Subaru engine, I believe it's Subaru transmission, and then a Toyota solid rear axle. No IFS in the rear.
I love that we can do stuff like that.
Just a straight axle back there. Now that's
Car number
specific
242, which is of course a Volvo 242.
Yep. That specific car, I got a wicked fireball photo from last night.
All right. Well, make sure you look at our Instagrams and stuff like that, and we've got shares of that. But yeah, especially we had the dying light last night.
It was like the perfect lighting for a fireball to just light up the whole back half of the car.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love a turbo Swedish brick that makes fireballs?
Right.
Does it get much cooler than that?
Giuliano, yeah. We all miss Ken. He was such a big supporter of our sport, and the draw that he had was like nothing else. Was that 395?
2 seconds, I can let you know. Car 902.
Boy, I was off. My eyes need checked.
Yit Can Gas. I'm sorry about butchering your last name. Oh, there's a
972.
YL there. Sorry, I'm looking through a viewfinder trying to pick out your last name. 2003, 2002 Subaru Impreza. Same last name, driver
Yep.
and co-driver?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm just trying to figure out where things have moved around on my list. Oh my gosh, there's things all over.
Another Subaru.
Oops, sorry.
A little bit of a different approach there. And you'll start to see that as we get into these lower powered cars where they gotta really take the weight of the car and throw it around to get around these turns efficiently.
Yep.
Rather than just using power to upset the natural balance of the car.
We're still trying to decide on what our next stage is that we'll try and go live on. As far as high speed section, when we were on Dalles Mountain last year, we had a good spot that was pretty high speed.
And they're doing 50 plus miles an hour here.
But yeah, I mean, it's coming down the hill, they're going pretty fast. The thing is, you see just a lot more of what the driver's skill are, and you know, and especially most of the time is gained and lost in corners like this.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot more, to us, a little more interesting. Yeah, the Scandi flick attempt. You're right.
Ken? One of my good friends, Ken Brady, co-driving that car.
Yeah, that's the former car that Dave Clark years ago used to drive before he went to the BMW M3.
Yeah, that car, like we mentioned,
It's been around.
Was sitting in a field in Yakima for a couple of years, and they just pulled it out and got it ready to go.
That's awesome.
I know a fellow driver, Eric Frentress, who we'll see come here in a little bit, went and picked it up for them. And yeah, I think it's only been about a month since I heard of Eric going and picking it up. So cool to see it out. That's one of my personal favorite rally cars right there.
Daniel, if you're wondering about where to find the spectator locations, go to OregonTrailRally.com and go to where you have the spectator guide. And it actually has, if you go through the pages in there, it's got spectator A, spectator B, C. So we've got a couple of spectator areas for today's stages. A little late on the turn in there for car number 395. That's Brandon Panek and Tobias Panek. How many stages are scheduled today? 8, I think. That sound right? We got 2 this morning,
8.
then 2. Yep, to 8. Okay. Yep. So 4 loops of 2. Not all of them have spectators available on them. So Dalles Mountain you can spectate. There just isn't any way to get people in and out of this stage that we're on. So Andy's Run does not have any spectating. But there is spectating for Dalles Mountain and for Mary Hill, which is that beautiful ribbon of tarmac. With gravel tires too, which is kind of fun to watch. Andrew and Ben Zapsky in their 2008 STI. They're in the limited 4-wheel drive class.
Looking at the timing here, we should be able to make Mary Hill one, I imagine. Doesn't start till 13:21. It's 11:36. We're 3/4 the way through-ish, I think.
Yeah, but then we also have to drive a lot of miles to get there. So we'll see.
But any of our other options are also a lot of miles.
Yeah.
Dalles Mountain would be less miles, but it's after, and there's a whole service, so that would be... We should at least try, I think.
Which one?
For Mary Hill.
For Mary Hill?
Yeah.
One? Lucas Chalcraft and Jamie Willits
Because then we
In the
can go
Gulf.
do Oak Flats later this afternoon.
If we can, yeah, we can try and get over there to the unofficial spectator.
Well, Mary Hill 1 is 1321 and Oak Flat Reverse is 1806.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of time between the two.
Yeah, definitely a decent corner for the golf through there. Yeah, Mary Hill isn't too far out. But we have to wait till the stage is closed and done and swept, and then we have to drive all the way over there through the stage, and then we can drive out to Mary Hill. So we shall try to get out there, especially going earlier is better because you get more light. They're also the last stage of the day, which it'll probably be too dark for filming. Just get into that twilight. Is this Gabe?
It is Gabe. Nice, responsible turn, Jen. And Tabor family clan watching.
Making sure that the car is okay. It is still 4 wheels down.
That is a family heirloom at this point.
That is very true.
One of the Tabors who's not here, Matt, bought that car new. And then it's been a rally car most of its life. He daily drove it for a little bit, but that is a Tabor family heirloom.
Yeah, so Gabe driving it with Mitch Meadows in the co-driver's seat.
Mitch Meadows.
That's right, our friends of Melee Media and Melee Design Firm. One of the big supporters of the Oregon Trail Rally.
Photographers that are sitting here with us.
Yes, all right, there we go. We got the cheering going over here. Yep, part of the Melee group. That's car number 454. This is way outside of what my order was before, so I'm all over like, yeah, the next car should be, oh wait, no, it's not them. So that's Lucas, 454. Where the heck did that? I thought I had them on my list. Oh, there we go. Justin Nelson, Serena Nelson. There we go. Found them finally. Looked like they were maybe experimenting with using an e-brake turn for that one. Oh, supporters of Rallycast, thank you. I know I haven't done an episode for a year. My day job got too busy. But yes, the Open Paddock Rallycast, if you want to go and check that out. I did interviews for a long time with a lot of competitors over the years, and they gave a lot of great insight. And yeah, I'll try and get back to it. Just got to get the time is the hard part. But thank you for the shout out. Car number 101, Peter Gigenti, or I always butcher his last name. I call him California Peter because I always butcher it. And I feel guilty about that because it's like an Italian last name and I've got like Sicilian roots, so sorry. But yeah, his the Evo X, that's a newer car for him. He used to have a BMW 318 Ti that he was rallying, and the neat little hatchback that they make. And he is now transferred to being in an Evo 10, so. From fun-wheel drive to all-wheel drive. Number 403. Or was that 443? That might have been 443. Elijah and Jeff Kleeman. Definitely taking it careful. Oh, yeah, Ryan, me and Texas Dave, we got along really well doing the podcast together. Yeah, that was a great one. Thank you. Oh, you still listen to the old episodes in your garage? That's cool. Man, I really do need to get back to doing those.
Should figure it out, Mike.
If you want to know where to see the rally stuff, there's not really cross streets, I guess. You got to go to our spectator guide. It tells you where, because there's only designated spectator spots that we can have for these.
Fun
car
fact.
number 842, which was Peter's car.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Evo you saw like 2 cars ago, the Evo 10, that BMW you just saw come through was his car. He sold it last year and moved into that Evo, and I know Peter's been fighting some issues with the Evo, gave him some troubles up at Olympus. They got it fixed. It kind of seemed like he was still having some troubles yesterday.
Well, and since it's a newer car to him, I'm sure there's a lot that's had to be rebuilt, and
you don't see a lot of those out here, and there's not a whole lot of knowledge on what you got to do to make it reliable, right? You know, attrition's a real thing in this motorsport.
Very true, very true.
Frentress.
Car number 950, a little wide there, bro.
That's Eric Frentress.
Was that Eric?
That is Eric.
Oh,
and
gee.
a Toyota Celica.
You know, maybe it's because we're friends with him. He's just like, I just want to get closer to my friends.
Yeah, he was like, hey, they're parked over there. I could do that.
Hello, Alexander from Germany. Thanks for joining us.
Although Eric was doing 48 miles an hour down the hill.
Oh, well, that's proper.
Oh yeah, he just wrapped that this week. He was really apprehensive on the size of the GR. Our Metal Boxer Media, Jace Tuttle, who's a big help for this event.
He's one of our organizers, yes. He helps with a lot of stuff.
Actually made those vinyls for his car and was like, nah, I promise him they're the perfect size. Get them on the car and they look so mint. I know it took Eric a lot of work, but it was well worth it, Eric. Looks great, dude.
So Zach Lord and Garrett Larson, number 610. And yeah, if you really want to know how to properly build out an Evo, I guess, yeah, Antoine Lestage would be the one to know.
Yes.
Yeah, when he used to ride that Evo 10, oh my gosh, that was so fun.
Yep, that was fast.
I was just a regular volunteer back in that ultimate season that unfortunately at Oregon Trail was the kind of the end of when it still went all the way to the last event between Ken Block and so it was Ken versus not Pastrana. Oh no, it was David Higgins. That's right.
Was it Higgins?
Yeah.
When
So
Higgins
those
was
two
like the
were
12-time
battling it out,
champion.
but Antoine was battling it out with them too, with a car in 2013, I think it was.
.47-mile-an-hour entry speed into that turn. Could you imagine taking a hairpin a couple of 100 feet in front of it, you're doing 47 miles an hour, and you happen to be on gravel?
Hope you have good tires and good brakes.
And someone in the silly seat telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Certainly does not hurt.
Yeah, Ty, that was such a great time, that 2013 year where we were just hoping to see just such an epic battle between all three of them. And unfortunately, yeah, the car crash, that was Antoine's, and then it was just back to, Higgins versus Block, which is still great to see. That was, and I think that's when he was using, Block had the hybrid function hooning vehicle. You remember that one? It was like a rallycross car that then he converts to a stage rally car.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? HFHV, the hybrid function hooning vehicle.
You like the way that car looks? That is a cool car.
So that's in the livery, Steve Greer's car, in the livery of Colin McRae,
Yep.
back when he was first doing the Subarus.
Way through
an old legacy. That car is a new shell, but the same engine from the car that burned at Olympus 3 years ago?
Something like
I think it was
that.
3 years ago.
Sounds
But
right.
it burned from the back forward, and then basically the firewall that normally prevents engine burning to go to the driver and co-driver, it burned the other way, and it saved the engine from being totally destroyed. So
The small victories, Mike. I will will say I'm quite thankful that the wind is from our back forward and pushing the dust away from us. And
Yeah,
not
isn't
into
that
our
nice,
face.
especially with that cloud. So that's Judah Friesen and
Yep.
John Friesen. And Judah is the kid that last year was only able to do Portland National Raceway for Oregon Trail because the Saturday was his junior-senior prom.
Yep.
So that's how young he is. He rallies with his dad. His dad was saying, it's like, you know what, this is father-son time that you just can't get doing anything else. It's like the bond that they have doing this sport. It's just been really great. And and the kid's not slow.
No.
That's a great
that
car.
was fast.
Managed by Jankowski Motorsports, that car. And Karen Jankowski, former chair of our event. She was a chair for like 5 years, and she's actually out competing. We'll see her car in a little bit.
Yeah, she is.
I believe that's the Copelands.
Yep.
Kenny and Kaylee Copeland. We have a lot of like brothers, husband, wives, father, son, father, daughter.
Yeah.
We have a lot of like
It's a family sport.
connections with the teams. It's awesome.
Big family sport. And it takes an army to put this together.
Hello,
right?
Peru.
You got 4 or 5 people sitting back at service ready to fix whatever you break out here. You've got all the people back home that got you here. Sometimes the only people you can get to do that for you are your family.
Good to have you, Jake and Todd, in spirit. Always enjoyed having you out here in the Mutant Mirage. And going along with the theme of cars that don't sound like they look.
Angry little rotary in there.
Yeah, so 1977 Dodge Colt with a Mazda rotary engine shoved in there.
A 2-rotor, I think, for what we were looking at.
Yeah, I
last
think it was
night.
2-rotor.
Pretty cool stuff.
That's very cool.
Honestly, I get why you did it though. Looking in that engine bay, it packaged in that engine bay super cleanly. There was super ample space to work on it. It makes a lot of sense.
Some of these garage builds that are just, it's just so fun to see just the weird ideas. That's something that European, and most of the world versions of rallying, that a lot of them that follow FIA can't do that. Nicholas and David Tipman in their little Fiesta ST, limited 2-wheel drive car. Yeah, Eric and Calvin from Rad Potential. They're the ones that have that Colt. It was so fun to see them. They've really gotten hooked on this sport. They did it as, they built a car, the Colt originally, and just did the whole championship last year, just kind of draw attention for their YouTube channel. So go look them up. And it's fascinating the different builds that they do. But once they started doing the rallying, they're like, oh my gosh, the community with rallying is so awesome. We got to do more of this. Yes, we even have Honda Fits. That's Radek Vladarchik and Cindy Carlson. The 2010 Honda Fit. And we've actually had Honda Fits before. The Honda, back then, Honda Performance Development. Had a little Honda Fit that they ran.
We've had a
many years ago.
Couple of times. Same with Toyota.
What's that?
Didn't Toyota come out with something for a year or two? Like
it was the RAV4. It was the Rally RAV4.
Yeah.
That's when Rhiannon Gelsomino.
Didn't they try a Prius too?
They did a one-off Prius. It was a course car because it was a hybrid. It was not allowed to have hybrid, so they allowed it as a course car. Yeah, that was up at Olympus 4 years ago.
Something like that.
4 or 5.
Always fun to see a manufacturer out here doing some testing, honestly, right?
There's Eric from State Farm. We prefer Eric from State Farm. Eric Zabala. And I love his Ken Block inspired livery there.
It's good.
So if you need car insurance and you're into supporting rally stuff, well, there you go. Look up Eric Zabala. He's actually one of the sponsors of the Oregon Trail Rally. And yeah, he's always been a big supporter, and he's a competitor. And heck, if you're trying to figure out how to get, you know, get a rally car insured, no better person to probably ask.
Right. That man will be able to help you out.
Yes, the Fit had a lot of potential way back then. The old B-Spec class, you are right. Yeah, trying to get something more affordable that was more stock, for sure. One of our favorite people to chat with, Jacob Sturgeon in the Devastator. 46 miles an hour coming down the hill, not bad. I think it's kind of been like the average, right around 45-ish, I think, is where most competitors feel comfortable. So yeah, those Jacob Sturgeon and Kirsten McClure with one of our other big supporters from Primitive Racing. So she is the office manager over there at Primitive Racing. And yeah. Her husband, Matthew McClure, is the one that works on my car. I will not let anybody else touch my Outback other than him.
Fair, fair, fair.
We're a tight-knit community here in rallying. We like to all work with each other.
And as we mentioned, we knew we'd be seeing Karen come through in her neon SRT4 here shortly. Looking pretty good. So
that's Karen Jankowski of Jankowski Motorsports. What I also love about Karen is, you know, again, she's been an organizer and she's still on the organizing team. She's actually even also the board of Oregon Rally Group, which is kind of the overall umbrella that runs Oregon Trail. And she wants to get other people, though, excited about the sport. Yeah. So she'll have different co-drivers. So our clerk of the course of this event actually was the co-driver for her at Olympus. Huh. And so he got to sit in the silly seat and call notes with that busy of corners over there. It's fantastic. Yeah, she's such a great person to have involved in rallying. And of course, you know, now she has that team where she's running Johan's car, yep, as well as her own car and whatnot. So it's really cool. So 901, Benji and Gerardo Carvalho. And a little 325i. Oh yeah, Chris Greenhouse, yeah, in his neon. It was always fun seeing him out. Yeah, way back in the day. I mean, he still does some events here and there up in Canada. That's where he'll often go, but he doesn't do a whole lot in the States anymore.
Oh. What?
Aiden Wilson and Selena Tapia, car number 68. The Ford Focus ZX3. Now, was that Chris Miller's former car?
I was going to say yes.
I think that looks like it was Chris Miller's 501c rally team, but they're now in the FRS GR whatever the whatever the Toyota calls it.
Oh, a GR86.
GT86. Is that what it is? Something like that. Anyway, it's the alphabet soup. The same platform with different names.
Yeah, that's fair.
Subaru BRZ. It's all the same.
QP2.
Okay, we just heard last car on course is car, the 74th car. So we started 83 yesterday. So we've lost some. Look! Look!
Not down there. You won't just land on your roof.
They got it working again! Woo!
There's the rear window.
The Volvo Amazon. It is back in action.
They got a little tight to the...
Yeah, that was
Probably
a little
the
dicey there.
second sketchiest one. I think that's it.
No, they
one
said, I think it was one more that launched. Let's wait just a little bit longer. They said they had sent the last car, but I don't know if they said that car number was the last car. Let me double check. Car number 83.
There's a car coming. Yeah, there's a car coming.
Yep. Because they start every minute, so. Car number 358. That's Kevin Sheldon and Arthur Hedderly Smith. And they're Chevy Sonic. Sonics are a fun little chassis.
Yeah.
And I believe that is the last car. So we are going to shut it down from here. And we are going to hopefully have a live stream coming up soon. We still got to finalize getting out of the stage. We got to wait for the sweet vehicles and the pass to the green light to go. So depending on how long it takes to get out of here, we'll either go to Mary Hill or maybe go to the second running of Dallas Mountain. We'll figure it out. And we will let you all know. So make sure you stay tuned to the Oregon Trail Rally Facebook page for any alerts of us going live again. But thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Mike Shaw.
I'm your co-host, Austen.
Everybody, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Have a great night.